Hey, morning guys. Sorry about this. Is going to be a kind of a quick introduction. It is 7:11 this morning, 7:11 a.m., April 24th, and we're on day 5 in Thailand. I got down to the park. I wanted to get out of the hostel, down to the park, just to have something to eat, film the introduction, but then I saw this moving in. Yeah, and it's already starting to rain on me. So it's gonna be a wet day today. But luckily right here, look at this. I got lucky. There's a bridge right here with a underpass I can kind of sit under if I want to get out of the, excuse me about my camera work, get out of the rain for a while. So I'm gonna head over there because it's starting to rain. And then I'll film the rest of this introduction and kind of what I plan on doing this morning, which direction I'm gonna go and all that fun stuff. All right, guys. All right, I'm under the bridge. I'm not really worried about getting wet. It's so early in the day. But I will use the opportunity to keep most of my gear dry. It's in a bag. I had to actually stop in the park and I forgot to put the plastic bag on it. I'm not doing my due diligence about checking the weather before I leave. And I know that's just a thing that everybody needs to do. Sorry, this is a live underpass right here, so you're gonna have scooters going by all the time. Yeah, so I need to start checking the weather more often. I know that. It's the weather is something I have to deal with anyway when it comes. And the old way of doing it was always to watch the clouds and stuff like this. And there's a really nice art form to actually weather and stuff like that when it comes to even like spider webs and stuff like that. When you see the long stringers going across roads and stuff, it means that the weather is going to be good. That means the actual spider is leaving his web on exploration, exploring a little. When you see the spiders usually in the center of the webs, it means like the weather's going to be bad, because in worse weather, usually the bugs will start flying lower, which causes the spider, being smart and all, goes towards the center of his web because he's going to be more active. But the insects flying lower also causes the birds to start flying lower too, in search of food, and the birds will also stay closer to the trees for nesting to get out of the rain and stuff, so they won't fly as high and stuff like this. There's awesome things that you can learn about this just for like paying attention to the weather and stuff. I can't remember the title of the book. I really wish I could. He had all this information in it, and he wasn't one of your common like David Canterbury, just to pull a name up, type of survivalist writing a book. But he had his knowledge was he was dropping in that book was awesome, because it was just nature based, and yeah, that's where I learned a lot of that. I just can't find that book again. I've looked and looked. I just can't remember what that title was. I think he has 2, and it's all about predict the weather and how to predict it and stuff like this, and yeah, he's like a naturalist. Weatherologist or whatever you call it, whatever their titles are. All right, guys, I'm babbling. I'm rambling on. Today, I gotta, regardless of what the weather is, I'm riding through it. I didn't do any planning this morning. I just got up and I wanted to get out the door. With hostels and sometimes hotels, but not as much at the hotels, you got to inform them if you're leaving at like 5 o'clock or something. A lot of times they'll lock the doors at midnight or 1 o'clock or whatever, and then they go to bed themselves. Usually they're on the property somewhere, but you just don't know where. So I forgot to inform them the night before that I might be leaving at 5 or 6. So I went ahead and just waited until after 6, and then I left the door. So that's why it's 7:18 right now. But I'm not going to be fighting the heat as much because of cloud cover. So plus for me with this rain. My gear should stay dry because I have it in the black garbage bags, which I picked up. They've been coming in handy. And yeah, so after I have some caffeine and fill my belly with some rice and chicken. These are, okay, hey, rice and chicken, 7-Eleven, right? They're 39, so let's call 40 baht. So you're talking about $1.20, and it's a large portion of just good stuff, And if you want a little larger, you buy for 15 baht an extra rice, which is 45 cents. So that's $1.20 plus 45 cents. You got a whole meal that'll pack your gut, and that's at 7-Eleven. And you're not going to get less chance of getting food poisoning. Just make sure you tell them warm it up. Okay, I'm rambling a lot this morning. I would like to thank the comments. I had some people comment. Now, I know yesterday I reached out for you guys because I felt like I didn't know which direction to go with my material and stuff, and I felt like I was just kind of repeating the same thing, and I realized I don't have a lot of negative input. And I'm not talking about negative like, you're ugly and your mama don't love you, but like, this is what I like about your videos, positive input. And I don't really I don't watch these part because they're non-interesting to me. And it surprised me to hear that the pagodas were not of much interest to one person, right? I'm just saying one person. And he really liked the rambles and actually the scouting out of the campsites, which, God bless your soul, that's one of my favorite things to do too, because I that's who I am. And he also likes listening to the nature. And I remember when I first started the video set of videos, I didn't like putting in music because I like the sound of the nature too, but then I started enjoying selecting the music and watching the scenery with the music and stuff. So my opinion has changed. So it was very interesting listening to that. But then also I had a backup comment. Someone reposted on his comment that they did like the actual pagodas with the music because they found it relaxing and stuff. And this was very, very, both of those comments, just those two comments alone, really helpful for me to try and figure out, how I can develop this channel more. Because the negative input can actually be more help because it's easier to take something out than it is to put something in. So it's easier to cut away the fat than try and add fat to something, So I do appreciate it, but I also need the actual backup comments too, so I don't accidentally stop doing the pagodas and just get rid of the music in the pagodas and go more like a Survivor Man based, And I'm not saying I'm going that way. I'm just saying I need the backup comment to go, okay, that was not a universal, opinion, but I appreciate both of those guys, and I need a lot more of that. If just just what you like, but also please what you don't really like, or you just don't. It doesn't interest you, and these rambles are probably just me. It's gonna happen regardless. And yeah, that way I can turn it from my own personal blog, which it really became a channel once you guys start watching. So now you guys are just as big as part of it as I am, right? So we'll work on it together. Okay, that's enough of that, guys. I thanked who I needed to thank for the comments, and I'll kind of tell you what I saw. Instead of going up to the Highway 3, and going northbound on that, I can cut across with what's called the 3153, and the three itself kind of goes up and over. If you look at it, if you pull up Google Maps, you'll see. And where I'm at, the 3153 actually just kind of, I wouldn't say it hugs the coast at all, but it goes more like a direct shot across the, until it meets, across the land, until it meets the 5029. But I don't know what the 5029 is because it's in a different color. I'm hoping it's not a freeway and that I get turned away, but I'll find out. If I get there and it's a no-go, I'll start hitting the back streets. You know, I can always go up north again and meet up with a 3. So that's the plan. Pattaya City is going to be my main goal. It's 167 kilometers away, so I'm going to fall short somewhere in between. I just don't know where. Like Rayon is 108, and that's a lot more doable, but that's an all-day push to get there. But like I said, I can throw up the camp in between. I think I'll do that. Like, I'm not going to make any promises, but I wouldn't mind. I haven't camped in Thailand yet. Yeah, so I have to camp in Thailand, right? I don't want to get too much in the routine of staying indoors. You know, I want to add a lot more camping too. You know, because that's actually what I am. I just started staying in the hostels and stuff when I went to Jerusalem. I realized only $20, right? 20 euros, that's a lot, right? But to me, I was like, no. Hotel rooms and everything was like 60, 80. I did the math and I'm like, you know, that did come with a nice free breakfast, but still, I mean, 20 euros. I wouldn't pay that today. You know, it's $10 or less. You know, if it ain't $10, I'm camping. So, all right, guys, that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and eat, get caffeinated. You know, and start pedaling. It looks like the rain kind of eased up a little, but this is an all-day thing. All right, guys, 10 minutes. Damn. All right, I gotta end it there. All right, guys, it is 8:05. There's the park I was at. I spent a little too long on responding to comments and just eating my food. I'm gonna restart the Strava app here and hit the road. I only have to be on this road right here, so I don't have to go any farther. So, all right, guys, I'm started back up and I'm gonna hit the road. So here we go. fruit. So guys, it's 10 o'clock right now and I'm on the 5029, and this is the road I was talking about. I wasn't sure it was a freeway or not. Well, it kind of is, but it's got a dedicated bicycle lane that you have to share with the with pedestrians, bicycles, and scooters. Or this is just dedicated just for them, which makes it very nice. And it really does. I mean, it's nice having a dedicated lane just for bicycles. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really enjoyable ride. As long as it doesn't get too hot, it should be really nice. Okay, I think Thailand's starting to get a little too many 7-Elevens. This is a very small town. I mean, I like 7-Elevens, but man, come on. What's the population here? Like 30? Nice thing about these rubber tree plantations is they offer shade along the way. And they look like they're good spacing for like putting a tent or a hammock up in. I don't think they really mind. I wouldn't put it way back there. I'd probably put it up more towards the street and not try and hide. But that's besides the point. I was just wanting to give you guys an update. I decided to go as close to hug the coastline, which is kind of behind me somewhere back that way, is what Google Maps is showing. If he's got me actually pointing in the right direction, which he does. So the coast is there. I'm going this way. Oh, that doesn't work. Sorry. I'm going that way. I'm on the 436 right now. Those dolphin statues, I'll put I'll put the name, even though it doesn't have an English name. I don't think that would help anybody. I'll put a coordinates where that's at if you guys want to try and follow me. But if you also open up the Strava, it should have my exact route that I'm taking. So just check on the Strava when I post it after I save it today. So where I'm at right now is I'm on the 4036, and I'll be meeting up with the, well, it looks like the 4036. I'm meeting up with the 1008, but that actually turns into the 436, so I guess the 1008 actually meets up with the 436 that I'm on. And I'm just going to be continuing on this route. It's the closest one to the shoreline, and I think, you know, knowing me, I said it's easier usually to camp the closer you get to the shorelines. I've noticed that. I just noticed that because usually most spots you go to, the shoreline's open to the public. Where if you get off into like more of the sticks and stuff, you're gonna run into more of the farmlands and stuff like this. But this is also Thailand. I have not camped in Thailand yet. Cambodia was way easier than Vietnam because Vietnam was all farming land. Cambodia had more open spaces, but I'm really digging Thailand because I'm finding a lot of spots that have great potential for camping. So yeah, tonight might just be a camp at night, and maybe when I get to Pattaya City, I'll shack up somewhere, take a shower, sink wash my clothes, and all that stuff, fun stuff. All right, guys, that's where I'm at right now, and the time check is 11:07. This is definitely a nice route here. I'm really enjoying. I know I haven't spent but a few days bicycling through Thailand, but I really do believe it's the most bicycle friendly so far. With a dedicated bicycle lane, and also I just passed a sign that actually, you know, showed like this is the bicycle route and stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't see that in the last two places I was bicycling through. So it's nice to see a dedication to stuff like pedestrians and bicycles and stuff outside of just scooters and, you know, cars and stuff. But yeah, no, this is a very enjoyable ride. So see, there it is. I'm not sure if you caught that. That was one of the bicycle signs. Yeah, it says scenic routes, bicycles. And yeah, it's pretty nice out here. Let's see if I can get a shot of this, the hillside over here. Hello. Scenic route. Ooh-wee. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Ah, nice. Nice little place. Well, guys, I'm going to park my bike in the shade here, and I'm getting in that water. I'm going to get down to my boxers and show a little leg. No, just joking. Yeah, I'm going to get down in the water for a bit and just chill out for a second. All right, guys. So you probably saw me getting into the water a little slow right then. The reason why is I couldn't see the bottom of the ground. I'll give you a quick story. I couldn't see the bottom, like the water's mucky. It's like sandy mucky. I couldn't see down. And last time I was around, well, not the last time, but when I was in Athens, there's a island off of Athens called Aegina. And there was a German travel lady that I've actually met she travels like her whole life. She goes around with her puppet and does little travel videos with her puppet. You know, it's actually I'll post a link to her channel. If you know German, it's kind of interesting. She just travels all the time. But she's a friendly folk and everything. But she wanted to go out to the Aegina Island, so I just kind of followed her over because I never went out to an island before, so she could help me figure out how to get on the ferry and all this stuff, right? So I tagged along with her, and she's one of those water people. I'm not so much the ocean. I like freshwater rivers and stuff because that's what I grew up around, up in the mountains of the Sierra Mountains in like California, Northern California. So I didn't have river shoes, which are like just water shoes. So I took off my shoes and I start getting in the water, and she says, be careful, there's sea urchins in there. And I look around, I didn't see any, right? I said, okay, I'll be okay, right? And as I walk out, all of a sudden all the sea urchins start coming out from underneath the rocks. First off, I didn't even know they could move like that, you know? I didn't know they crawled along and stuff. And because, remember, freshwater guy, not saltwater guy. And all of a sudden, I'm kind of pinned in, even though I'm not in deep water at all, right? I'm just like up to the legs. But now I have to try and figure out how to get around a lot of them. I mean, they pinned me in. They were, I guess, curious because I was disturbing the water or something. But yeah, they all kind of came out of underneath the rocks. And I'm like, oh, now it's like landmines, because those are, as far as I know, they got a nasty bite. You don't want to step on one of those at all. It's like getting stung by a stingray. How painful it is, I don't know. I just heard they're really painful. And so knowing that, I was like, how do I get out of this without stepping on one? So now that I go into the water, if I can't see the ground, even with like shoes on, you know, even with these on, I'm careful, because even with these on, step on them wrong, you can get one of those little spikes in your feet. And so yeah, lesson learned. You know, we all learn from learn and move on from the mistakes that we make. And I should be a genius by how many mistakes I learn from, because I make them all the time. I'm wrong so often. I just gave up on being right about anything. But that's how we live. If we can't laugh at our mistakes and say, okay, I'll never do that again, then, you know, what good are mistakes then? All right, guys, I just thought I'd drop in a little, one of those little things of why I was so careful getting in the water. All right, that was nice, guys. Let's get back at it. What the hell is a rat rest area? Yeah, at least they're honest. Hey guys, I'm at that rat rest area. I know it's in the part of the name of the place. I'm just joking around when I say rat rest. It's but I mean, taking the opportunity since they have built this shaded little area, and it's kind of strange. It looks like a little parking area with like electric outlets and stuff. So it's the rest area. So it's awesome that they offer charge-up devices. I'm assuming, that's what it's for. But like I said, I'm wrong about a lot of things. Something I wanted to say, add on to something I said this morning about that book that I couldn't remember about the natural weather signs and stuff. I decided to go ahead and look up who that was and just do a little bit of research. I was able to actually locate the author. His name is Tristan Gooley, and I'll put the name in down below. Tristan Gooley has several books, and one of the ones that I first started reading of his that just blew me away about how knowledgeable he was and stuff. And you want to look into his credentials. He does have the credentials to show. I'm not going to talk about those right now. You can look them up. You should always look up the credentials of the authors, not just blindly read any person. Like, if they got a PhD in their name, usually they're vetted, But what I'm saying is you can go down some bad rabbit holes if you don't vet out your authors first. Like some of his titles are The Lost Art of Reading Nature's Signs. That's the one I first ran into. Before I realized he had several other ones. It's The Natural Navigator. Some of his early ones was How to Connect with Nature. The Nature Instinct, How to Read Water, The Secret World of Weather. Did I mention that? No, I didn't. And one of his first ones is How to Read Nature. Did I read How to Connect with Nature and How to Read Nature? Okay. Yeah, those are some of his books. I'm not sure if those are all of them. Probably not. It's the ones that I could find. And you could either just order them and get them through used or whatever to thrift bookstores or something. Thrift bookstore is a great spot to get used books through the mail. There's also called Hobby Books online that you can find great books for cheap because they're used. AB Books, ABE Books. And they kind of search the whole internet for all the used books and stuff. Now, if you don't have a problem with downloading PDFs, that's up to you, what you think about it. You can go to what's called Ocean of PDF. Ocean of PDF is an online place where you can download PDFs and EPUBs. So you get to choose, which is nice because EPUBs are a lot of times a lot easier to read than a PDF file is. They usually give you the option, if they have both of them, they give you the option which one you want to download, and that's fully free. But like I said, use your judgment call on how you feel about downloading something for free that you should actually possibly be paying for, because these, I don't believe, have the consent of the author. But yeah, that's Ocean of PDF. Like I said, regardless, he is an awesome author, and I just wanted to put that in there. I'll make sure I leave a plug for him, like his name down below. That way you can look him up and look these books up. And I'm more nostalgic. Like, I like carrying around I like the feel and smell of real books. But the fact is when you're traveling, you got to kind of do, EPUBs and PDFs. So my library is on my phone. So, all right, guys, I just want to add that because I know that if you're a traveler and stuff, especially being a hobo traveler, before the invention of the cell phone, the smartphone especially, you had to do these natural signs and stuff like that and read the clouds and stuff, and because it really did matter between life and death because of hyperthermia and different things like this. Once you get wet and once you get cold, you're in danger. So But besides that, it's just very interesting. You know, nature is a beautiful thing, and it's cool how man has figured, you know, as studied and learned from nature. But all right, guys, yeah, I just want to add that for anybody that's interested in weathers and how to read weather and how to read natural science. That's my recommendation. All right, guys. Hey guys, I'm in front of 7-Eleven again. They have so many 7-Elevens in Thailand. It's pitiful. Oh, what do I usually pick up when I'm here at 7-Eleven? Let me go ahead and show real quick. Like, this is a chicken Caesar salad. They're a little expensive at 59 baht, so you're talking about like $1.80, right? About $1.80. But it's not really that bad. I mean, it comes with a Caesar salad and all that stuff. Something like this, just to bulk it up a little. I love vegetables, man. That's just how it is. It's not that I like animals. It's just I hate plants so much. I just want to kill them and eat them. Just joking. But this is to bulk it up a little. This is like 15 baht, so 45 cents. And then one of these, of course. Japanese, these are one of my favorites. It's green tea with lemon and honey, 30 baht, so 90 cents. And then my go-to thing, why I actually come here, is this one is fried chicken with rice. A good amount for, what is it, 39 baht, I think. So like $39 baht, which is 40, 80, 120, $1.20. Yeah, something like that. So that's usually just what I pick up here. And it's easy, it's convenient. I know I'm not going to get food poisoning. They heat it up for you. Yeah. So if you guys are curious why I come to 7-Eleven so much, it's because it's just convenient. And it's like comfort food. You know, people eat comfort food just because it's their go-to thing. People are creatures of habit and stuff. Other than that, I'm just kind of going over the comments right now. I'm not sure if I said how far I came on the last little talk I had back there, but I'm at 59 kilometers, and I've been at this for about 3.5 hours on travel time, so I'm definitely taking my time today. But it's 2 o'clock, and I got the whole day more or less to go ahead of me, so I'm gonna try and get up above 80. So I'm gonna keep pushing. All right, guys, that's all. Oh, by the way, yeah, the comments, keep them coming, guys. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
You come from?
Huh?
Where you come from?
Oh, I'm United States, America.
Welcome.
Thank
My
you.
daughter in USA.
Is she?
Yeah.
Great. Yes, it's actually nice
Hi,
being
nice
here.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Well, there you goes, guys. I had a flat on my new tire. I heard something pop. I thought I was just kicking out a rock, but I must have ran something over. Yeah, I thought I was just kicking out. Luckily, I have 3 things of water right there, and I have 2 spares in my bag. So, and it looks like I got trees behind me. Look at that. Eucalyptus trees, which are my favorites, or one of my favorites. So, the ground looks a little swampy, but as long as it doesn't rain real hard, I should be good out there. The thing is with eucalyptus trees, they're planted all around Jerusalem and different spots like that used to be swamp area, is because the amount of water that they take out of the ground and they evaporate into the atmosphere makes them great trees for reestablishing land from swamp into like where you can cultivate it into better land. Anyway, I read that because they were in Jerusalem and I was like, why are there so many? Are they native? And I found out, yeah, that's a trick for actually making swampland into good land. Anyway, I'm gonna have to replace that. So it's time to set up camp then. It's 4:38. I'm gonna just push my bike along for a little bit, see if I can find a spot to camp, and yeah, and then set up and start changing that flat. Alright guys. Here's the main road. I just was right there where I had a flat. There's this field over here I'm gonna explore. But here's some bad signs. Dog food. Dog food. Dog food. And there's some dog tracks back over here, like in the dirt. So there might be some stray dogs out here, some wild dogs. They look full size from the prints. Nothing too big. There's also a vehicle that seems to be coming back here. Smaller vehicle. But if you look around, I got this camera set on the wrong setting right now, so excuse me if I'm not completely. People have been dumping out here, so that's a good sign. Because if someone's dumping out here, that means this is a notorious spot for no one's gonna care that I camp out here if I throw my stuff up. So yeah, this actually looks not that bad. I mean, yeah, it's people dumping trash, but the only thing that concerns me is those dogs. But I do carry pepper spray, so you know I picked up the pepper spray for the animals like dogs and stuff, but 2 for people. Well, my main concern actually is if someone's already out here. So I'm kind of looking if I can see signs of a lot of in and out traffic, footprints in the ground and stuff like that. Okay guys, I'm going to explore a little. But no real choice. I'm going to be camping somewhere out here. Because, I mean, if they're dumping, I'm taking this spot. We said the only concern is the dogs. And the dogs must be friendly enough that someone's coming out here and feeding them, so I don't think it's if they do get close. Alright guys, I'm gonna look. There's the dog, there's one of them. And the other one's right over there. So, he doesn't seem too aggressive, but he is a big one. I don't know what the other one looks like yet. I heard him barking. But I have a feeling... Yeah, there's the other one. Oh, he's a smaller one, but I mean, he could still tear me up a little bit if he wanted to. What's up, buddy? Now that guy's a big guy. Yeah, we don't want to entangle with him. He doesn't seem super aggressive. So now I got to decide how to give those guys space and at the same time still find somewhere to camp. This trail goes off that way, and it seems like both the dogs are migrating that way. So I'm assuming they might still be owned by someone living out, like, yeah, doing the homeless thing, like I used to. And those are his dogs, possibly. That would be my guess. So my only alternative is to try and look for something this way. But okay, so I'm gonna get on Google Maps and actually look at the satellite view here. I'm gonna get on Google Maps, see what the satellite view looks like, and see if I can see if any of your surrounding houses in this area and stuff like that. Like I said, I had to find something like close because I got to fix that flat. And by the time I'm done doing that, it's going to be camping time. So I'd rather just get up my hammock first and then fix my flat, because I need to get everything off the back. So okay, I followed one of the other trails here, which I'm actually on, that was going in the opposite direction. I said one of the dogs are still hanging out here in the field. I'm not sure where the big one went. They're not super aggressive, but you can see their paw prints are all around this area. So this trail might just be because there's a fish in a hole here. Obviously the water's all dried up, but they still managed to get something out of it. And I don't see people's tracks. See, like, this is a sand trap. So you can see what type of life what's going around here. I don't see people tracks, so that's good. Just the animal tracks and mine, which I'll cover up as I go out. Maybe this isn't a really bad spot. I don't see really, I see some like past homeless activity possibly out here, like little structures being built and stuff, but for what reason I don't know. It could just be to get out of the sun, have a spot to get out of the sun and, you know, lay down for a while, siesta place or whatever. But like we're over by my bicycle. I'll show you one when I get over there. But either way, there's so that water, even though it's dried up, is right there. So this area is blocked off from anybody coming in through that way, which gives me safety on that side. I don't know really. I checked the satellite view already. There's a supermarket way over that way. Recycling center on the other side of the swamp over here. And over on this side, a road that goes this way along with the main road that comes across this way. So okay, so I found this right over here. Because these look like some good trees. I could actually throw a hammock up right, but they might not be big enough to hold my weight, but they're a good distance apart right here. So it looks like someone's got a makeshift bench or bed. A bed to get off the ground so they're not sleeping on the snakes. A little chair and possibly a side table. I just don't see activity though. Looks like here's the trail in. I know you can't see it on camera. You can barely see it by eye. There's a trail right there, what I just came in on. So, yeah, you know what? I think I'll just take care. I don't see this being active right now. Alright, the bench is right there, see? But this tree right here, and this tree right here, is gonna be my spot. I have to do a little clearing away with some of these limbs, but not much. Yeah, I'm just gonna, although they'll be able to be seen right there, that's fine. I'm not trying to be like super, you know, stealthy. I'm gonna be stealth enough, but I'm not gonna be trying to. There's some safety in actually being in plain sight too. You know, there's less chance of anybody actually doing anything if you're more in the open. Where if you're tucked way back in somewhere and you're out of sight, out of mind, well, when they find you, you're out of sight, out of mind. And that becomes part of the the equation. You know what I'm saying? For if something might happen or not. So sometimes it is just better to actually set up your camp, you know, grow up here and just be right in the open. I've known people that just camped right in parks, like right in the middle of a city park or something, just because they didn't know the surrounding area and they knew they'd be safer there, just right in the open. Yeah, they don't like it in the morning when the cop usually comes in and gives you a kick and says you can't be sleeping here or whatever. But yeah, sometimes it's best to be where they can see you. All right, guys, I'm gonna start setting up. The mosquitoes are coming out very, very hard. Like I said, I gotta try and get this tire, this flat tire, done before sunset. So I want to try and get my hammock up real quick so I can get that changed out and figure out what's going on. All right, over and out. Well, I got my hammock up and it's ready to go. Yeah, so I just have to fix up flat now. So I guess it's fix the flat time. It's right there. Yeah. It's about an hour before sunset using the finger method. Each finger is 15 minutes from the bottom of the sun. So if you stick up your hands, if you got 3 fingers between the ridge and hang on a second. Each finger is 15 minutes. So if you got like 3 fingers between the bottom of the sun and the top of the mountains, you know, where it would set at, then that's 45 minutes. 2 fingers, half an hour. Right now I'm looking about 4 fingers, so an hour. Get that done in an hour. I don't see why not. Or I could just go ahead and work on this a little more, like put up my tarp and all that stuff, which might be smart. The big dog came back. The small dog is very bashful. The small dog is not a problem. I don't know about the big dog. He walked by and didn't see me, so I'm assuming he's an older dog, maybe. That's not real good on the senses, or he just doesn't care anymore. I'll find out later when he does actually discover I'm here and starts barking at me again. But he didn't seem like super aggressive, and I have my pepper spray, so I'm not worried about him. I'm more worried about if someone's actually still staying out here or not. And if someone's feeding the dogs, I'm assuming they probably don't have an owner. And all that. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna call it quits. I have a long editing time coming up. I recorded a lot and I babbled a lot, so it's gonna take me a while to edit this one. All right, guys. Hasta la bye-bye. I'm gonna say good night, y'all, and we'll continue this journey tomorrow.